Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to a brand new episode of my weekly playlist series. It's Friday again, which means it's time for me to share with you guys the games I have been playing during the week, give you guys my thoughts and opinions on them, whether I think you guys should check them out or not. I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on the titles, whether you played them or not. I also want to hear about the games you guys are playing, as that has given me some wonderful ideas for new games to check out. I appreciate everyone who shares the games they play with me each week, as you guys have piqued my interest in quite a few titles, and I also appreciate anybody who has given me a suggestion on games you think I should check out, as I'm into a variety of different genres I like to play, from racing games, first-person shooters, puzzle games, adventure games, RPGs, just I like all kinds of different games, so I appreciate all the suggestions, as I have discovered a lot of great games I didn't know about. I got to play some of them, and I also have a growing list of games to either play or add to my collection to eventually play. So I'll keep up the suggestions, guys. I appreciate those as well. I've got 3 games to share with you guys this week for the Xbox One, as I've been on a big Xbox One kick. My thumb is healing up. It's still kind of messed up. I normally keep it covered with a band-aid, but right now I've just got it off to let it air out, which I do every few days. That's what the doctor said to do. And now that my thumb has been healing better, I'm able to play games more and longer. And so this week I was actually able to play 3 games. And we'll start off with the first game here. It's the one I was playing last week, and that was Alan Wake Remastered, which is just awesome. This is a remake of the old Xbox 360 exclusive Alan Wake. This was released on Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5, and the PC. So finally, PlayStation players are able to experience this awesome Alan Wake game. It was also only $30 physically, and it was also $30 digitally. I'll read the back for you guys. The horror story is coming true. In this award-winning cinematic action thriller, troubled author Alan Wake embarks on a desperate search for his missing wife Alice, as he discovers pages of a horror story he has supposedly written. Wake's grip on reality is threatened as he confronts the darkness closing in. It has all new remastered 4K visual, enhanced cutscenes, and more. So what's cool, so this game is definitely a heavily story-based game, so you guys know I don't like to ruin story, but the basic premise of the story is that you play as Alan Wake. He's a troubled writer. He's been having trouble writing his latest novel after having all kinds of successful novels. He's been having trouble, writer's block and stuff, and so he goes with his wife Alice to this small town of Bright Falls to basically get away from the big city, because they live in New York City, and he just wants to get away from the city life for a while and take a vacation to recharge and stuff with his wife, and hopefully, spark that writer's block away, get rid of it, and get inspiration to start his new novel. And once he gets there, he runs into trouble, and then his wife gets kidnapped by this darkness that it's called a force, and he has to try to save her, and he goes through the story that way. And what I really like about this game is it does a little bit different horror aspect than other games, because other games, just have like the monsters you fight, and that's it, where this takes it to a different level, where the enemy is this unknown force called the darkness, and it actually uses objects, people, and animals against you that you actually have to fight. And it makes the fights a little bit different, because you can't just simply kill them with weapons, as the darkness shrouds their disciples and its minions with a darkness shield, and you have to actually burn that darkness shield off in order to kill and dispatch those enemies. So you have to use a light source, which is really cool. So the light mechanic really plays a big part in this game, light and dark. And the way Alan Wake is able to fight that is with different kinds of flashlights. Like, he starts out with just a standard flashlight, but he eventually can get a stronger flashlight, and then he can actually get a lantern, and then he can get a stronger lantern. So there's actually 4 different kind of flashlights in the game. There's also other light sources you can use in the world. Like, there's those big floodlights that power companies and stuff use. You can find those throughout the world to help you out. There's also light sources and like street lights that come on, that you can use those to protect yourself. And then there's also big searchlight and spotlights that are in the game that you can also use as weapons occasionally, which is cool. He also has a variety of weapons at his disposal. You can get a revolver, you get a shotgun, you get a hunting rifle, and then you also get a flare gun, and you get flares and flashbangs. So he does have a variety of weapons to dispatch his enemies, But like I said, you have to burn that darkness away from them first before they're vulnerable to you. And it's a really great game. It's got 3 different difficulty settings: easy, normal, and nightmare. Somebody had mentioned that the 360 version actually had 4 difficulties. They had easy, normal, hard, and nightmare. But this game just has easy, normal, and nightmare. In order to unlock the nightmare mode, you have to beat the game once, which I actually did. I went through the whole story again and beat it. It's broke up between 6 different episodes, and then every episode is a couple hours long. So by the time you're done beating the game, you're 10 or 12 hours, depending on how skilled you are in the game and knowing where to go, and if you whether you explore and get all the collectibles, because this game does have a bunch of collectibles, which I do recommend getting the strategy guide or a collectible guide online, because there are coffee thermoses to find, there are manuscript pages to find, there's some signs to read, and there's radio stations to listen to, TVs to watch, because there are some cool little in-game TV show called Night Springs. You can watch some couple-minute long clip episodes in this game, so that's really cool. So there's a lot of collectibles to get, and I went through and got all the collectibles again. This game also did include both DLCs, the Rider and the Signal. I think it's the Signal and then the Rider. That's how it goes. Beat both of those as well, and so all I need to do now is go back and beat this game on Nightmare mode again, like I did the original 360 version. But I'm going to put this game and shelve it for a while, because, I played it for the last 2 weeks and really got into it and wanted to beat it again. And I had a wonderful time, really enjoyed it. It's awesome. There can be some really tricky moments in the game, but I've just played it through normal mode. And if you're a fairly skilled player, you won't receive too much of a challenge. Now, if you play Nightmare mode, it can get pretty challenging in that mode. As I remember, it was tough on 360. But definitely don't play it on easy. The game would be way too easy. But playing it on the normal difficulty, because you have to, there's no other, you can't go to Nightmare right away, is definitely a great entry for new players, as you'll have some challenge, but it won't be too challenging. But it's really cool. I really like the combat aspect of it, because you got to burn that darkness off of the enemies. And what's really cool is the enemies will actually cover their eyes, since they don't like the darkness, and they all carry different weapons, like an axe, or they'll have sickles or something, and you gotta watch out, because some of them can actually throw them at you. You have to dodge it, because they can hit you. And this game does not have health packs. It has regenerating health, and as long as you're not getting hit and you're standing still or moving around, your Alan Wake will slowly heal. But if you get to a light source, he'll instantly heal all the way, because that's where the light sources are, what heal you. They also serve as checkpoints. So anytime you can make it to a new light source, that's where you'll get a save point. There are generators in the game, example, where you have to... it's a little mini game comes where you got to hit, like that for Xbox here version, you have to hit the A button when it gets to a green spot as it spins around. If you hit that 3 times, sometimes more, depending on the generator, then the generator will turn on and power the light source or whatever you need to power. So they do have that in the game too. It's really cool. Really enjoy all the characters, the music, the atmosphere. Everything in the game is just wonderful. It's a great horror game to play. The voice actors are done well. I really like the characters because they're all interesting. Alan Wake does run into a lot of great characters throughout the story, and it's a really compelling story. I really enjoyed it. It's really cool how him being a writer ties into the story. I won't go into too much more detail on that, but definitely you guys got to check out Alan Wake Remastered version. If you want to get it physically, I would definitely recommend getting it sooner than later, as it's a pretty hard title to find. I had to order this online in order to, actually no, I didn't order this one online, jeez, that's a different one I'm thinking about. I got the last copy that my local GameStop had. This was their display copy, jeez. But definitely, if you want to get it physically, I'd get it sooner rather than later, as this had a small print run. But definitely check out Alan Wake Remastered. It's an awesome remake of that classic 360 title. Now, our next one here, another one for this theme for Halloween. I actually picked this up the same time I picked up Alan Wake, and that was the 2016 Ghostbusters game, which this is completely different than that Ghostbusters, the video game. This is similar to the Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime that was on Xbox 360, that isometric top-down Ghostbusters game, and that's what this one is. This is connected to the original 4 Ghostbusters, but you don't play as them. They're in like a conference stuff, so you play as 4 different characters. There's 2 different guys and 2 different women to pick from, and they all have their own different kind of weapons and different proton packs and stuff, but there's still a team that you go through, and you can play this co-op and it's only locally. There's no online. You can play co-op, 4 people total, or you can play with 3 computers, which is what I've been doing. So it says, grab your proton pack and become a Ghostbuster. Battle many ghosts, including Slimer, Gertrude, Aldridge, and more. Capture ghosts in 4-player co-op. Swap from the classic proton pack to unique character, weapons, and grenades. So it's really cool. Is it like like the best Ghostbuster game in the world? Of course not. It's kind of mediocre, but it's something I really enjoy because it's basically like a twin stick shooter but set in the Ghostbuster universe. I know this game got a lot of hate. Not too many people really enjoyed it. I've had fun with it. It's not like a super long game, as there's I think like maybe like 15 or 16 levels total you go through. There's different settings, like a graveyard you go through, and I think you go to like a subway and stuff. But it does have a story that has like kind of like some comic panel type thing to go through, and basically, you know, you're a new team of Ghostbusters that works with the originals, and you're back watching the headquarters while the original Ghostbusters are out at some conference or something. That's the basic story I got from it. And you know, you get to fight all kinds of different ghosts, and each character has different weapon styles, and you're able to level up every Ghostbuster as you go through this game and play through the different levels. You earn ecto points, and you can use those points as you get higher levels. And as you get new higher levels, you know, you unlock skill points, which you can then put into your character to make them have more health or more damage or run faster and stuff like that. So you can go through and upgrade all 4 characters yourself, and I think they can get it to like level 20 or something. And I know, like I said, a lot of people didn't really like this game, as it this wasn't like a true like a Ghostbuster experience that people wanted. Didn't have the original 4 Ghostbusters, but I was having fun with it, as I do like twin stick shooters. It was kind of cool having the Ghostbusters theme to this game. Now, it doesn't have any of the licensed music other than the original Ghostbusters theme song that plays during the title screen, and on the main menu and stuff. You can hear that Ghostbusters, but otherwise it has all unique music. I know some people kind of compared it to like a Luigi's Mansion type of music, but I thought some of the tunes they picked for were good. And like I said, it's not the best game in the world, but I enjoyed playing it, and you know, it was only $15. I'd always wanted to play this game. I just was waiting for it to go on sale, and if I could find one cheaper. It usually goes for like $30 here. It rarely ever goes down, and I happened to see GameStop had a copy for $15, so I picked it up and checked out. I'd recommend giving it a try. Check it out, see if it's something you might enjoy. Maybe you might want to check out some videos, gameplay videos on YouTube, and see if you like it. I liked it just because I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters, and you get a choice of 4 new Ghostbuster characters to play through, and each one has their own unique weapons, which is cool. They do different things, and they also each have their own different grenade that does stuff, like you can stun ghosts and stuff. So a majority of the ghosts you shoot and they just disappear, they kill, but there's some bigger ghosts that you actually riddle down their health, and then you can use your proton beam on them, and you capture them, and you have to slam them down, which is similar to like you did in the Ghostbusters video game when you got their health gets down, and then you throw a trap, and then you trap the ghost. So there are ghosts you do trap. There are some hidden things to discover. There's some collectibles to find. I don't remember what they are. There was one thing that was really cool that I found. They have this thing to enter codes. They were supposed to be like little bonus codes, but the only one that I heard of is this one for Papa John's, where if you type in Papa, you actually unlock a Papa John's Ghostbuster costume for all 4. And the health ones that you find, health little packs you find in the game, are actually Papa John's pizzas, which is cool. So you all have a health bar, and if you get hit too many times, your character will go down, similar to like a Gears of War's down but not out, and you can go and revive your character. Now, if ever all 4 people die, then you guys fail, and you have to start over from the checkpoint. And the game does have checkpoints throughout the missions. I really like the game. You know, like I said, it's not the best Ghostbusters game in the world, but it's something that I've enjoyed. I think you guys should definitely check out the Ghostbusters 2016 game. Pretty cool. And now the last one here is one I actually just got in the mail yesterday on Thursday, and I played it last night for about 4 hours. Really loving it. And this is the one I'm going to put a lot of time into, and that is a game called oh god, I'm going to say this wrong. It's like Shaoan Yuan Sword 7, which I heard this is a series that was originally only on PC, and this is the first time it made it like to an action RPG. It was like, I think, isometric and some other kind of games in the series. But it was really big in like Japan and stuff. But this is the first time I think they released it here on consoles in North America. So I got to read you guys the back. It says, so journey across ancient China as a cinematic adventure unfolds. Take the role of a calm and reliable swordsman, Taishi Zhao, as he fights to protect his family and uncover the truth of a blight that threatens all of China. With a story deeply rooted in ancient Chinese history and mythology, Shaowan Yuan Sword 7 reimagines both as one fantastical and chaotic realm under the governments of the new Jin dynasty. Slash, block, dodge, and repulsed in combo-based real-time combat. Control the Elysium Scroll to slow down time, absorb monsters, or alter the environment. Explore a standalone story requiring no prior knowledge in the Shaowan Yuan story. So that's something that I thought was pretty cool. I actually saw this as a suggestion on GameFly of just a new game. You know, that whenever you're on there, they have, you know, new games upcoming and like suggestions basically. And I saw this and checked out GameFly. I'm like, man, this looks pretty cool. And it's coming out here pretty soon. And so I wanted to pick it up, but it was $50. So I'm like, I'll just wait to get it down the road. I happened to find a copy on eBay, brand new with free shipping for $40, which actually the guy now lowered it down to $35. Had priority shipping, got here in just a few days. So really excited to have this, as I have been having a blast with this. A lot of people basically compare this to like the Chinese Witcher, as I do get a lot of feel of the Witcher, the way the world looks, the characters, the move around, the text and stuff. Kind of does remind me of the Witcher a little bit, because it is an action RPG, which is cool. It does have an interesting story that I'm really enjoying. You guys know I don't like to ruin stories, so I won't ruin the story for you. But it's really cool playing as Taishi Zhao. He's a really cool dude, and he has magic and abilities that normal people don't have access to, which is really cool. You have a variety of enemies to fight, which are different demon monsters. Some look like humans, some they have dire wolves and stuff, and there's some little goblin looking guys. And what's really cool is you can actually capture the souls of the enemies you dispatch, and then you can use them for enhancing stuff. This does have a unique crafting system too, to enhance your weapons and armor and stuff, as you have to find building materials to unlock those. And then there's this really cool screen where you actually build these temples and then use those when you go into them to actually forge stuff that you need throughout the world. The game does have a health bar, and then you do have health potions that you can find or craft and use. There's merchants in the game, so you can sell stuff. So, you know, it has all the classic stuff that a action RPG should have. A really good game. I'm really liking it. Now the graphics, I would say, are basically like early Xbox One. Like I could see it running on Xbox 360, so it doesn't have the best graphics in the world. It's not going to blow your mind away. You're not going to compare this to Ghosts of Tsushima type of level. It's not that type of level game, but it's still a fun game. It's like a AA game. You know, it's not a AAA game. It was made by I heard it was made by a very small studio. So, you know, with having a small team of people, they did make a really fantastic game, and I'm really enjoying it. Like I said, I've only 4 hours in, so I'm only in the very beginnings of the story. It does have main story that you go through, but it also has side quests and stuff you can do. There's also this, like Shaolin chess or something. It's really cool. It's an interesting little chess mini game you can play that's a little different, and I really have enjoyed playing with some of the computers on that chess game. There's also an arena mode and something that got added to this game because there was a pretty big update for it. So I'm assuming that post-launch, you know, they've added some content stuff to the game. There's 4 different difficulty settings. You're like a normal, easy, hard, and then like this a nightmare mode. I'm playing just on normal mode, and most of the basic enemies so far are pretty easy. But there are boss battles in this game, and man, they can be difficult. And the second boss that I fought was pretty difficult at first until I learned his pattern and learned how to dodge, because Xiao does move around real quickly, which is great, and he has a sword. You can also make him, like for playing this on Xbox version, if you hit the A button, you know, he can actually dodge and roll. And so I do get some kind of like Dark Souls vibes with this game, with fighting some of the bosses. You know, you have to go in, get a couple attacks, and then dodge out of the way. You know, you can't just whack on that button or the character will knock you down, because some of these bosses are gigantic and huge. There's other aspects to the game too I like there's some like Tomb Raider or Uncharted aspects where like you can jump up onto ledges, and you know, you can jump between like platforms and stuff. It kind of reminds me of like going Tomb Raider and those games, you know, where you scale wall and you jump between stuff, or like Prince of Persia. So there's all kinds of different game genres that are kind of like incorporated into this game, so you can see where they got their inspiration from for the combat system and for the movement and stuff. And I so far have not noticed any slowdown or anything. I haven't noticed any real graphical glitches. It's been running pretty smoothly. I just have my Xbox One X. I don't have a 4K TV, but for me the visuals look decent, and I'm liking the story, and it's cool. Like I said, it's basically, as others have said, a Chinese Witcher, and it's really cool with the Chinese mythology and the ancient stuff. You know, you're fighting demons and monsters and stuff, and there's magic in the game, which is really cool. There's ghosts and spirits. There's NPCs to run around, and different interesting characters. It has a really compelling story that I'm really liking so far, and it's really got me hooked. And this is one I want to beat, and I definitely recommend you guys check out this Shaoan Yuan Sword 7. As this game is really cool, and I'm really enjoying it. Definitely think you guys should check it out. We'll do our quick little recap here. You know, I talked about the Alan Wake remaster. It's a great remaster of the original Xbox 360 version, where you can finally play it on PS4, PS5, and Xbox One, Xbox Series X. You know, they updated the visuals and stuff, kept the same game, didn't change anything other than like that. You get both DLCs you had to originally pay for in this, and it's just a wonderful package. Great horror game to play, especially here in October. I completely beat this game. All I have to do now is go back through in the future and beat it on Nightmare mode, which I will, but you know, I'm going to shelve it since I put a lot of time into it this last 2 weeks. Definitely think you should check it out. I also talked about that 2016 Ghostbusters game. You know, this is an isometric twin-stick shooter set in the Ghostbusters universe. Not the best Ghostbusters game in the world. You don't play as the 4 original Ghostbusters. You have 4 new Ghostbusters, 2 guys and 2 girls. They all each have their own unique weapons, their own unique personalities, but they are still a team to play together. You can play co-op. Locally, there's no online, or you can play it single player with the computer controlling the other 3 characters, and the team does help you out. Not a huge, like, long game, but it's definitely one I think you guys should check out. Like I said, I got mine for 15, so it's definitely one of those games I'd say it's worth 15 or less. And the last one we talked about was that Shaoan Yuan Sword 7, which this is a cool Chinese action RPG, basically compared to kind of like a Chinese Witcher, people said, and I would agree with that statement. It's great. It's an interesting setting, like I said, with, you know, the ancient Chinese mythology and monsters, and just I really like the cool setting of ancient Chinese cities and stuff. It's just really cool, and I really enjoy the story. Definitely think you guys should check out these 3 games. Let me know if you guys have played them before, your thoughts and opinions on them. I'd also like to hear about the games you guys are playing, and if you have any suggestions on a game you think I should check out, let me know, as you guys do recommend really cool games. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day. Sleepy. We'll see you guys next time.